We gotta thank our Patreon supporters: Matt J, Carson C, Claire G, Jacqueline M, James P, and Mike L. Please support our podcast at patreon.com/whatremember. Supporting our podcast on Patreon gives you access to our Patreon exclusive episodes: Labyrinth, Spaceballs, Men in Black, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Back to the Future. Bunch of good movies on there. Thank you so much for the support, and enjoy the show.
Speaking of works of art,
you were waiting for the right segue, and you were like, this is the one.
let's hop on this segue and ride it off the cliff like the guy who invented the Segway.
That is one of the best stories.
Isn't it? Is it an urban legend? I think it's on the Wikipedia as it being real.
It's I don't know if it was the inventor or if it was like one of the executives of the company or something.
One of the guys that was in the room
someone that
when it
was
happened.
high up in Segway definitely drove a Segway
Yeah.
off the cliff.
The guy that was working on the wheels or something. Some very crucial.
The guy who was in charge of anti-cliff software and it was too late.
Is anti-cliff software that just keeps people named Cliff from using a Segway?
Yeah. Yeah, well, did you think I meant the cliff they drove? That would have been
that's what I thought.
that would have been a little too on the nose, Brad. That would have been too on the nose.
My name is Bradley Jones.
And I'm Andy Hubert.
And this is not a movie review podcast, but a podcast where we try to remember what happened in a movie we haven't seen in a very, very, very long time. This is what we remember about Mission Impossible.
Were there 2 or 3 bad guys in Home Alone? And who was that forgetful fish in Finding Nemo? Join us as we're watching films. See what we remember and what memories we kill. Let's start the show. Here we go. This is what we remember.
Andy Moldenhauer isn't here.
No, it's our first
first duo.
First Durbla.
The dynamic Uno.
But wait, that means
just me.
4. That means 4 though.
The dynamic Quattro.
The Fantastic
Mr.
2.
Fox.
Fantastic 2.
The
is what I think
the
that thing was called.
Fantastic 2. The X-Man and X-Man. The 2 X-Man.
Andy's too busy being on vacation.
Could they be?
And he couldn't be bothered to bring us.
Yeah, and he hates Mission Impossible. He said that several times.
Did he?
To us, right
that
into our
would've been
faces.
Perfect to have him on
He talks
this one.
about how he hates it, and then he'll never listen to this episode. So it doesn't matter how much we badmouth him, because he'll never hear it.
He's never gonna listen to this one. That makes me sad inside.
Going back, can the X-Men? If I just have 2 members, can I call myself the X-Men still, or can I just be like one guy? If like all the X-Men die and just like Wolverine's alive, is he still X-Men?
I would think he's still part of the X-Men because you can claim that it's a big thing. No one needs to know how many there actually are. So
How
you
many
can be like, look,
men are in the X-Men?
I'm part of the X-Men, and people are like, that sounds like there's more of them, so I better watch out.
Speaking of X-Men, how about the cast of this movie?
Of what? Of
the Mission Impossible.
Man, there's like a crazy bunch of people in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
There's that one guy. Tom Crumbs.
Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of beautiful foreign girls that never made any other movie other than this movie,
Yeah,
but they were great in this movie.
Emilio is in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's uncredited though.
No, he's credited.
I feel like I looked at the IMDb for this,
He's credited.
Recently.
He's gotta be.
and it had the parentheses.
He's got so much
uncredited.
hype in front of him. This is like fresh off Mighty Ducks. He is the it man.
I don't know.
Breakfast Club. I mean, that was a thing. And then he was in other movies, I'm sure, that I don't remember. Repo Man.
He was in the Ducks.
He was in. I said that already.
He was
I was
in
thinking of new movies.
He was in the Ducks too.
Mm-hmm. And he had a cameo in Ducks 3, I think.
Yeah.
For like a half second.
That
He
sounds
shows
right.
up in the locker room and gives him a pep talk and then just walks away.
It's like, hey guys, bye.
And this is what we remember about the Mighty Ducks. So Coach Bombay is trying to put together a team in order to find the knock list.
Oh man, but who else? Jean Reno
Mm-hmm.
is in this.
John Voight.
Yeah, John Voight. You know.
Mm-hmm. Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames is so good. He's so good. Like, he's like my favorite part of all the Mission Impossible
Yeah,
movies.
he was a treat in this film.
Yep.
He probably did more movies, but this wasn't really like. This is the Ving Rhames we know and love, and we
Like,
want from every movie we see
The
from
most
Ving
Ving Rhames I can think of are from this movie and so the subsequent Mission Impossibles and like the Dawn of the Dead remake. It's like that's like Ving Rhames just being Ving Rhames, and it's great.
Is he related to Leanne Rhames, the country singer?
I mean, it sounds like they seem like they could be siblings.
Even with just you, I'm gonna make the worst jokes possible. I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna yank him out of you.
Brad, I'm an enabler. It's never gonna end if you do this. Oh no.
And then so the two really cute foreign girls that don't have any other movie credits that I can think of.
There's-
But they look like a lot of other people.
I'm trying to remember the blonde lady.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know who
There's
that is.
and then there's John Voight's wife, right?
Yeah, I thought that was the blonde lady. There's probably a different blonde.
Yeah, there's like this cute, skinnier girl
Okay.
that's all about Ethan Hunt. And I keep wanting to call him Ethan Hawke, but that's not correct. Ethan Hunks.
Ooh.
I did something there. I was going to say Hawks do hunt, but Ethan Hunt isn't not a hawk.
Wow.
He's not a
okay.
hawk man, I don't think.
Say that 5 times fast.
I can't. I would explode. I would die in an inferno. Oh, we're coming from the Main Art Theater in Royal Oak, Michigan.
Yeah, it's
this is another
live.
live show.
You could
I always
probably-
forget to say that.
They could probably tell when they started listening, but
I'm also going to edit it, so this part's at the beginning, maybe.
oh yeah, that would make sense, I guess.
Maybe. So if you heard, it depends on if you heard this at the beginning, then I edited it, and if I didn't, then I did not edit it.
And now you know. That's the magic of post-production.
Post Malone. So John Voight is in an airplane
Yeah.
at the beginning of the film. A cute stewardess lady comes over and then says something.
Yeah, she gives him like
some
a
sort of
phrase.
a code phrase. Did you order the banana shakes?
Ooh.
And he's like, yes. And that's all. Because no one in their right mind would eat a banana shake on an airplane. That's my logic.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's just not something you want to, partake in.
She slips him like a mission briefing.
Mm-hmm.
And it does like your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Yes.
The classic.
Your mission, Jim, should you choose to accept it, is to obtain photographic proof of the theft, shadow Galitzin to his buyer, and apprehend them both. I've already dispatched a team selected from your usual group. Sarah Davies is already undercover. Jack Harmon can hack into any security system. Hannah Williams will handle surveillance. Your wife, Claire, will cover transport. And Ethan Hunt will be your point man, as usual.
Did you ever watch the TV
I
show?
never watched the
Me
TV
neither.
series. And I think his character
Me neither.
is the character from the TV series. Like, it's supposed to be a continuation.
Oh, really?
I think so. I don't really know.
Were any of these? I'm guessing no, but were any of these cast members in the original
I
series?
doubt it. It was in like their, mid 60s.
I have no idea when this came out. I wouldn't even know what to think. If one came on TV and I didn't get to hear the theme song, I wouldn't be able to tell you what television show I was watching.
Yeah.
It would be Mission Impossible. So he gets a mission if he chooses to accept it to steal something.
Yeah,
Are they stealing the necklace already, or is that something that Ethan Hunt wants to do later in the movie?
No, that's like the whole movie is them stealing that list.
Okay.
Basically.
Does
and-
it start
and back
right?
and forth?
Does it start right here in the first mission that they get offered?
Yes.
Okay.
So they have to like break into like an embassy or something to
Right.
steal this list of CIA guys.
But before that, there's a sting operation that the crew is already on, if I'm not mistaken. And they're trying to get some information out of a guy.
Okay.
Ethan Hawke is wearing one of his goofy grandpa face masks that's in every Mission Impossible movie.
Yep.
That makes him look like somebody else.
That makes sense.
And they set him up. There's a two-way mirror. It's almost they're in like a movie set, I think, where it's kind of like a hotel, but they like did a lot of redecorating on the hotel to make it look like it was a real thing, but it was
Okay.
just a sting operation.
Sounds good.
And then they just get out of there, and they get what they want out of the guy. Ethan Hunt makes out with John Voight's wife because it's just part of the mission.
Well, yeah,
They
yeah,
talk about
sure.
that.
Part of the mission, Brad.
Mission Im Kiss Possible. Kim Possible. Mission Kiss Kim. There's nothing there. I'm grasping at straws.
You could do this all night.
I could grasp at every straw that we have. 'Cause- no problem.
Oh man.
So that's how we get introduced to like them successfully completing a mission and being a team.
yeah, being very good at what they do, and everyone introduces their roles.
Yep.
So
Emilio
like,
Estevez is probably like doing some sort
He's
of
the nerd
technical
guy,
thing.
yep.
Yeah.
I don't think Ving Rhames is in this yet.
Nope.
Okay.
Because he isn't even one of the agents. He's like an ex-agent
Oh, okay.
that Ethan Hunt either worked a job or like knows of.
Yeah.
And recruits him to do
Yeah, after he
the
gets
thing.
like burned later. Mm-hmm. But before we get to
Like Burn Notice, burned?
oh, I bet that's a good TV show. I'll watch that.
Is that what you meant by when you said burned?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, they have to break into this embassy. There's like a party going on at the embassy, I think, that they're
Yeah.
while they're
Do you know what
infiltrating it.
this part of the movie always reminds me of? True Lies. There's almost an exact same scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger has to like break in and dance with a cute lady in order to get some sort of file or something from somebody. And in the same way, Ethan Hunt, who is the point man,
Yeah.
that's his job,
Yep.
has to dance with one of his coworker ladies in order to sneak his way up to the top of the building.
At the very least, into another part of the building.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a common Mission Impossible thing. Like I know he does in at least the most recent one they did. He does like the exact same thing where he goes to like this big party and
I didn't see the very last one that just came out. I saw 1 through 4,
okay.
but not the 5th one. And Emilio Estevez is in the elevator.
Yeah,
he's
he's like on top of the elevator.
he's moving stuff like I think he's controlling it, moving it up and down because it's
Yes.
locked. Like it doesn't. It's not supposed to go to the floor. That it's like so they go through a mission briefing. They lay out down the game plan, what everyone's supposed to be doing, and we just watch it happen. But it all falls apart when something happens.
Yeah, like because Emilio Estevez's thing is he's like tapped into the security cameras and the elevator system, so he's watching everything going on and he's controlling where the elevator goes.
He like elevator action.
Oh
He's responsible for the elevator action, like the classic '80s arcade game.
but then suddenly, is he the first one to go?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this devastated me as a kid. By the way,
Okay, so
he was like my favorite character as soon as this movie started, and
Yeah.
I got way too attached in like the first 5 minutes,
I agreed.
and then
I agree.
the elevator just goes out of control.
Yeah, there's a shot of him going up, like losing control of what's happening. He doesn't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
He looks up at the top of like the elevator. There's some like spikes coming down,
Yeah.
and right before he gets splatted, they cut.
Yep. And so you just get like the he's
And you're like,
definitely
and then you're
now.
watching the movie and be like, wait, but I paid money, and the guy I wanted to see is not in the movie anymore. Can I get a
So, like,
refund?
This is where you can be like, well, okay, I can change the channel now. Like, I don't care anymore. Oh,
So
yeah.
they get set up because
this,
there's a mole.
Yes,
essentially.
there's
Well,
a mole.
They don't know that yet, but they do figure
Yeah,
that
there's
out
a mole
pretty
in
quickly.
in the Mission Impossible club.
Is it called MI6? You were gonna say that. Isn't that James Bond?
No, it's it's IMF, the
Okay.
Impossible Missions fund
Football team.
foundation
Franchise. Falafel. I got it. It's falafel.
That sounds right. I don't think. That definitely that checks out. And but after he gets killed, basically Ethan's like, oh man, something's going wrong. So like he's like, all right, let's scrub it, and they all try to get out.
Yeah.
And
Do they get some of what they were looking for, and like the rest of it's corrupted, or is it all just for nothing?
I don't know. I think I want to say it's all for nothing, but I know
It
later
could be all for nothing.
I think it is,
Yeah.
or at least they're cruising.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because John Voight gets shot.
Oh.
Um,
Well, yeah, but
not really shot though.
he comes back at the end of the film.
Yeah, it was a double cross.
So we go through a couple of different scenes. Ethan Hunt's trying to escape.
What's her face gets blown up in a car.
Yep, and then John Voight's wife is like behind a fence, like a fence, like other side. She can't get to him, and then she gets stabbed,
Ooh.
and it's like this really weird scene.
Okay.
Although she does come back later too.
Yes, it's like
Pretty much everybody but
everybody
Emilio gets a
but
second
Emilio
chance. in
was
life
in on this.
He gets a second chance in life on this film. Yeah.
And Ethan gets away, and I think he finds out that this whole thing was like a setup trying to figure out who the mole was. Mm-hmm. But now because he survived and everyone else didn't,
Yeah.
they assume he was the mole. And
I don't think that's true.
I'm pretty sure
could be
because that's why because then he calls like the other guy
Yeah.
who was like the overall head of the Impossible Missions group.
Okay.
And is like, oh my god, everyone died. And they're like,
Well, they have
wow, what a surprise, Mr. Mole. And he's,
really
I'm pretty sure.
because there's this part where where the mission fails and Ethan has to meet up in a restaurant or something.
But I mean, like I say, he does go back to the Mission Impossible things right after, and tried to explain to them what happened.
Yeah, well, he meets a contact, and I thought the contact was like, we planned this and everyone was supposed to die, and that we knew that it was, the audience knows it was a setup.
My team is dead! Galitzin's gone. They knew we were coming, man. They knew we were coming, and the disc is gone.
Are you intact?
The disc is gone. Do you read me? The list is in the open!
Listen, I read you.
Yeah, because there was another Mission Impossible team at this one thing, and that were like they were basically observing his team.
Okay. I don't remember that at all, but that sounds awesome.
And
When does he throw the gum at the aquarium? This is what I'm trying to lead you to.
oh man, I forgot that was even a thing. I remember I remember the gum at the end. I forgot about the aquarium though, which is
Yeah.
an amazing scene.
So, in my memory, Ethan Hawke is supposed to meet up with. I said it.
All
I said
day.
it.
You
Didn't I?
would say this
That's
like
fine.
4 times.
That's okay. Ethan Hawke is there.
I'd watch that Mission Impossible.
Tom Cruise as Ethan Hawke in Mission Impossible as Ethan Hunt is meeting a contact at a restaurant to try to figure out what went wrong. The contact reveals that it was a setup and that he was in on it and all these things were happening because he has that one line about, "You look upset, Mr. Hawke." Mr. Hawke looks a little angry.
Tony Hawk's in this?
Your feathers look molted, Mr. Hawke.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You haven't seen my feathers molted."
I can understand you're very upset. Kittredge, you've never seen me very upset.
Exact line from the movie.
So I think that is.
If I'm gonna do it correctly, let me. It's like, "You haven't
Yeah.
seen me angry," and then he turns into the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, man.
And then he punches that guy, flies out of the building, kills Captain America, and the movie ends.
And that's the Avengers.
And that's the Avengers. What were we talking about?
I don't know.
Mission Impossible and the Avengers, like they're the same movie.
I think in the restaurant is when they explain to him that they're like, so now we know you're the mole, so we can
Okay.
take you out. And he looks around and realizes that like this was like all set up to get him back in so they could take him out as the mole.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he's all like gum, and he does it's like red and blue gum that
Yeah.
you mix them and it
You
blows up.
squish it together.
And he blows up the aquarium and gets away. Mm-hmm.
And was this gum that maybe Emilio invented and maybe like did it on the sly? Was this his like last thing that he was able to contribute on the team? This sweet, sweet gum.
It might have been. I know. I mean,
Because I think he's chewing gum, and it's like, don't whatever you do, don't chew it. Something like that. He says.
don't combine those the colors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so there's a sweet scene where he just whips it at an aquarium, it blows up, floods the restaurant, he's able to make his escape really cool. He does a Tom Cruise run, which I'm sure he does in the movie.
Yes.
It may even be
Oh,
the
yeah.
first time he ever does it.
The open hand's just booking it.
Yeah, his hands are up high, his legs are going, he is running like a madman.
And so he gets away and realizes that he's basically like, persona non grata.
Yeah.
And he calls
There's also
up,
like a hit on him too, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah. So the agency puts out a thing saying like, hey, to all the other agencies like CIA and stuff, they're saying this guy's a bad guy, traitor. We need to take him out. Take him
Take him down. Take him down.
Like that Ian Malcolm guy. He's just in it. He's got
Is
lines
Jeff
for everything.
Goldblum in this movie?
Yeah.
So he has to recruit people from outside the organization in order to
Yes.
help him to clear his name.
So that's when we get to Ving Rhames, who is just the best all the time.
Yes.
And he's like an ex-nerd, even though he's a humongous, awesome guy who
Yeah.
should be doing more action stuff. And Jean Reno, I think, is the other guy. Who's like
And
the
what is
pilot.
he's a pilot.
Yeah, he's just a pilot. I don't know why they really needed just a pilot.
I'm not sure either. I know he flies a helicopter at some point.
Yeah.
Does he turn evil too, or is he a good
Yeah,
guy? all the way
he's a double cross.
Man.
Yeah, I know.
Ving Rhames is the only guy this guy can trust.
Yeah, and he's just
And I think there's a moment where one of the girls from the mission, the younger, cuter, skinnier brunette, she's not skinny. I keep saying skinny. She's just skinnier than the other girl. It's the only way I can
Okay.
identify her.
All right.
The other girl that isn't John Voight's wife shows up at the hotel, and because Ethan thinks she was dead, but she's
Yes.
not. So now Ethan has some doubts about maybe she is the mole.
Right. Yeah. So he's also trying to find the real mole to clear his name. Mm-hmm. Is his mission.
If he
yeah.
chooses to accept it.
And he finds out that the one that was supposedly blown up in the car didn't get blown up in the car.
Yep.
Like she got away just at the last second.
Yeah, you see her going into the car and closing the door and it exploding, and he even says that, like, I saw you die.
And she's
This
all
is
like,
it.
"Dude, you were on drugs, bro." That didn't happen. So yeah, at that point, I assume he thinks she's the mole.
Yes, or it's in the back of his mind. But she's like, Ethan, it's impossible. How could I have been the mole? She whimper convinces him that she's not the mole.
But I think
She uses her feminine teardrops and whimpery voice to calm him down and realize that he's wrong.
that sounds right. I think
Because he likes her too.
Well, I mean, he's Ethan Hunt. Of course he's gonna like her.
Ethan
Except that in the
Hunt?
later ones, he has like a wife, I guess. I don't know who that
in the third
was.
one,
Yeah.
she gets kidnapped and they fight together. It's pretty cool.
And then they keep
They beat up Philip
referencing
Seymour Hoffman.
in like 4 and 5. They reference her again and again. Every time he's like, "I had to leave my wife behind," and stares like wistfully into the distance, and then it like does like a whip zoom to where she is.
Is he always whispering in the movie?
Only when he's talking about his wife.
My dead wife.
She's not dead though.
I had to leave her.
She's over there. She doesn't know he's still alive.
If I didn't leave her, she would have been my dead wife. Maybe she's already dead. I don't keep contact. She doesn't friend my Facebook request. She doesn't accept it. I don't know.
Oh man, it's like we're writing the movie.
So he is trying to get the NOC list.
Yes.
Which
So the
stands for the non-operative coverts or something like that.
non-official covers.
Non-official covers,
So-
which would lead them to find them all.
Well,
somehow, maybe.
No, so the idea, the whole point of getting the list in the first place was the mole was supposed to get this list and sell it to somebody else.
Uh-huh.
So he basically calls the somebody else and is like, "Hey, I'm the mole. I got your list," and poses as the mole to find out who the real mole is.
Oh.
So then I think he has to get the list, which is now back at the CIA headquarters. And that's
see.
because that's when he gets Ving Rhames and they do the vents and the classic suspended from the ceiling thing.
Yeah, so he needs them to help him get into this building.
Yes.
Does he sneaks around too, like on foot for a while, doesn't he?
Probably.
Does he mask
needs
up
to
again?
go.
I bet he masks up again.
He messed up at least one more time, but I think that's later.
There's probably some cool stuff where he uses spy gear. Maybe he has like one of those fake filaments on his hand with the fingerprint on or
fingerprints?
something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
bet it is.
I don't remember what happens, which ones.
They also
occur
do
in
like
this movie, but-
they also do one of the Ocean's 11 style. Like I think when he's explaining, or Ving Rhames is explaining how secure this room is that they have like the list in.
Yeah.
And
so the room has like a temperature control on it. It like knows
Yep.
when the temperature changes. It knows when the floor is touched.
Yep.
It knows it's a sound thing.
Yep.
There's like 10 different things that control the alarms in this room.
And to get in, you have to go through like a voice recognition. You have to go through
And when
like
the
a
alarm-
fingerprint scanner.
And when the alarm goes off, the room like shuts down essentially.
Yeah.
So you have to do it or else you're going to be trapped in there.
So it's it's a bit of a challenge. No big deal for these guys though.
Yeah, they're up for it.
Um,
But I don't know what each character brings to the table.
I don't know why they need Jean
What
Reno.
is-
Maybe he just flies in there.
What does each character bring to the table?
Ving
is my
Rhames-
question. Because he's like computer guy.
He is computer guy.
Jean Reno is maybe some sort of muscle on the ground.
Maybe
he's
he's
doing
like
something.
he's like a surveillance guy as
Yeah.
well as a pilot.
Is he up there in the vents with Tom? Maybe.
I think he is because Ving Rhames I think is like on the roof or something.
Yeah. Because I think there's some moments where he like has
Yeah,
to
that's
sneeze.
gotta be right.
He like has to sneeze
Yep.
and like almost drops the wire. Like there's
Yeah.
things that happen.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. Jean Reno is in the vents with Ethan. Ethan goes through. For some reason there's a vent directly in the like over the middle of this room,
Mm-hmm. The only way to get in.
and they
The
lower.
one place they never
they
thought of.
lower him in.
The big scene in the movie.
Oh man,
it's in the trailers.
so iconic. It's the most.
Like
Oh
you,
my
you
gosh.
see the shot of him falling and almost hitting the ground, and you're like, "That's a movie."
It's like you have the
This is a
scenes,
movie.
You have like the ET on the bike in front of the moon, and then you have Mr. Impossible hanging from the ceiling. That's the two scenes
Mm-hmm. And-
that everyone knows.
And Brendan Fraser drinking out of the slurping machine and Encino Man. Those
yeah,
are the ones.
those are the ones.
all those movies.
That's all there is. So, but yeah, there's a part where Jean Reno has to sneeze and almost drops
Yeah.
Ethan, and he's like right above the floor doing this awesome balancing that I'm like Tom Cruise legit did.
Yeah. Well,
Because he's Tom
He
Cruise.
does all of his own stunts.
Yeah.
He knows what's up.
and balances, and then he like has to catch a drop of his own sweat.
Yeah.
At some point.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, it's a good thing I wasn't in there because I'd have been sweating all over that floor.
And
like,
you're sweating during this podcast.
yeah, he had like one drop. I would have been like, as soon as they opened that vent cover, I'd have been like, well, we're blown. I just sweated all over.
Andy,
in
your
here.
brow is covered in sweat, and you have armpit stains that I've never seen the size of before in my life on a human being.
I'm also running like 108 fever, so it's all right. But
Well, just the fever alone would trigger the sensor in the room because you had to be a temperature, right?
yeah, I raised the ambient temperature too high.
But there's a moment where like a guard comes back in,
Yeah,
and then Ving Rhames knows that he's
It's not
coming,
even-
and
I
they have
think
to pull
it's
him
like
back up into
a-
the vent.
Yeah, I think it's an important person. Like it's like the CIA director or something. It's like going
Yeah.
to check out the room.
He maybe doesn't pull him all the way up directly into the vent,
No,
but
yeah.
like just to the ceiling, and then just hope they don't look up, and there's a shot
Yep.
maybe from the low angle.
There's got to
where
be.
you
Yeah,
see-
and he
see
kind
him
of is
from
looking
down
around. He's
there.
like, and then he walks out. And they manage to get up and out. And I wonder if he comes back in at the last second. He's like, because he forgot one more thing. And he looks up, and they just
Uh-huh.
happen to get the vent back in time.
And I think maybe that's when like the sweat or something falls, and it hits like that guy's shoe or something.
Oh, man.
Wouldn't that'd be tense, right?
He's like,
Yeah.
But they do get the list.
Does he use a diskette? A 3.5-inch
gotta-
floppy?
he's gotta
It's
use something.
1990s.
Or zip disk.
He uses a zip disk, and it's a 90s film.
Yeah, it's probably a zip disk.
Uh-huh.
And he gets this massive text file to get on that disk.
A dot txt.
He's using a 5.5 inch floppy, and
He gets 5 kilobytes worth of data, fills that sucker up.
but he makes sure he flicks that little switch on the top so you can't overwrite it.
Well,
You
yeah,
gotta
that's the
make
most
sure.
important part.
Gotta make sure.
Yeah. I mean, I've lost a lot of King's Quest cassettes to not flicking that. And you need all this. You need all 7 discs.
Yeah.
Because it asks you at any time during the game to put a new disc in.
It's like insert next disc.
and then it's like, I didn't. I copied the knock list onto this one. I
put that
couldn't do it.
PowerPoint I had to do in class on
I
here
should have
and-
locked it.
terrible choices.
So he gets out. He pulls the cover up, and I think they're just somebody goes back in the room and it's empty.
Yes,
So we do see that maybe.
maybe.
Because
And
the security guard keeps coming in and out of that room.
I don't know if they know something's up or if they're just on high alert anyway, but like I'm not sure because it's definitely they definitely like go in and out of that room like twice at least.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
But they do get the list and they get out.
Yes.
And so Ethan calls the guy he was going to sell the list to and is like, "I got it. What's up?"
Yeah, he needs to sell the disc to somebody.
Yeah. So that guy,
And who is this guy? Just some dude with
I think
money?
he's just some guy. Like,
he
he's just a bad guy.
Because he just gets doesn't he just do the exchange and get a bunch of money? He gets a briefcase full of money in the movie.
Yeah, I think he might, because he might do
because
that. I don't
because
even
Ving Rhames
remember.
and John Renault get paid and they leave.
Yeah.
I think, but like maybe they leave, but then Ving Rhames he needs Ving Rhames for one more job or something. Because Ving Rhames comes back for when the train stuff happens.
Yeah.
He's there, right?
Yeah, they both come back. John Renault just comes back on the
Evil
bad guy
guy.
side. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the bad guy tells Ethan who the mole is at that point.
And it was John Voight.
And it was John Voight who wasn't actually shot. It was all staged to make
Yeah.
it look like that.
Because in his death, he gets shot. He does a weird face. He grabs his chest. There's blood on it, and he falls off a bridge.
Oh, I think you're right.
And, and then he just swims to shore. Because we
Yeah.
do see the flashbacks of how people did not die.
right.
Because also his wife comes back.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And they show how he did not, or she did not die too.
I think it was a
And it was
fake
the same
knife
kind
or
of thing.
something,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because Ethan Hawke. I'm gonna keep doing it.
I think she was she was in some tunnel. There was a gate between her and getting out, and she couldn't get the gate.
Yep.
Get past the gate, and that's when he watches her get stabbed from behind.
Yep.
But she's at the it's tragic.
It's a weird and cool scene.
It is.
I gotta say, we haven't said it yet. Brian De Palma directed this film.
Oh yeah.
And oh my gosh, can that guy make a film?
Holy cow! I mean,
Oh boy.
I wonder has he done a
Nothing
bunch of the
very
subsequent ones?
recently. No. Untouchables was his big one, and this movie, Carrie, of course, is
Yeah.
iconic. I like a movie called Phantom of the Paradise that he did in the 70s. That's really cool. If you're looking for a Halloween movie, check that one out.
Was it on your list?
It was on my list, and I mean, if you see this guy's name, you're gonna get an interesting film.
Yeah. You gotta know it's. I mean,
He's
it's gonna
he's
be.
a cool
he
guy.
knows how to make a movie.
Yeah. I want to say he did Scarface too. Not the sequel.
Okay.
Not Scarface. Scarface also.
Scarface here?
Scarface 2 is the movie that we're gonna make. even scarier than the first one is the tagline.
Even scarier than the first one. It's that whole thing.
Yep. Never scarred. And Ving Rhames plays Tony Montana, and Joe Montana plays Joe Montana.
I'd watch that movie.
So he has to do one last mission. Doesn't John Voight reveal himself before the train, or does he reveal him on the train?
So he's on the train.
For some reason, I think he's on a subway for a split second.
I remember
There's
he's
a
on a
train before a train.
He's on a train, and I don't know if it's the lady or if it's his wife, comes in and is like, Ethan's onto us. She's trying to get here, but we got to make sure we get the list before he figures it out. And then John Voight rips his face off, and turns out it's Ethan Hunt. And she's like, "Oh, oops.
I spoiled the beans.
About that stuff I just said.
You know what those
worry
beans
about
I
it."
just spilled? I'm sorry. Could you just not? Can you just pretend those beans didn't get spilled? I didn't spill these beans. Isn't he wearing like glasses that have a video camera in them at some point?
Yeah.
Don't those play?
I don't know if it's
Because they use those in their missions. Everyone's wearing some
that's
sort
right.
of-
They all have like glasses on that have a camera in them.
Yeah. So isn't that how he essentially
So
clears his name?
Yeah.
Like getting John Voight to confess that he was the mole or something like
yeah,
that?
he reveals himself to the lady, and after he does that, then John Voight comes in, and he's like, "Oh, Ethan, you're here." And Ethan's wearing these glasses, and basically John Voight's like, "Joke's on you. Here's my entire master plan."
Mm-hmm.
Gives him the master plan, and like the whole time he was just like live Facebook streaming this to the CIA guys or to the head of the IMF or whatever. So the head of the IMF is like, "Oh, it was John Voight all along. He is still alive. Ethan Hunt's not just crazy and a traitor." And then
But there's still a train scene that
yes.
happens.
So then John Voight, I mean, he like the reason he does like he monologues this whole thing because he knows he's just going to kill Ethan anyway.
Sure. As a villain would do.
So he goes to shoot Ethan, and then the lady jumps in front of the shot. I think
The wife?
Yeah,
Or the other one?
I don't know which one it is.
Ethan's lady or John Voight's lady?
Whichever one is the one that was in the train. I don't remember which one.
I think it's probably Ethan's lady.
Okay,
Because that
would make sense.
That's her moment of like, she was good this whole time.
right? Or she's like come back into the
Yeah,
fold at
either
least.
that or she did do something bad and then she's trying to repay it by doing
Right,
this
she's
thing.
redeeming herself. She's like, "Don't kill him," and she takes the bullet.
Yeah, I forgot that everyone dies. Really.
Pretty much,
Except
yeah.
Ving Rhames.
Yeah.
Ving Rhames and Ethan Hunt are the only ones that make it out.
So Ethan takes off. He's like, "Well, now I'm out of here. This is not cool. People getting shot." And they climb up on top of the train.
Mm-hmm.
And they're having a cool chain sequence. That's when Jean Reno shows up with the helicopter.
For reasons.
I wonder if
Money?
I wonder if Ethan runs up there or if John Voight runs away after he kills the lady. And like, because his whole escape plan was to get on the helicopter
Yeah.
with Jean Reno.
And he's
fly
chasing
away.
John Voight.
Yeah, and he chases John Voight up there.
That makes sense.
He like chains the helicopter to the train.
He does. And he pulls the helicopter through the tunnel.
Oh yeah,
tunnel.
it is the tunnel, isn't it? This
Through the
isn't
tunnel
like they're
tunnel.
in London like this whole time.
I think it is. And the helicopter the blades of it like barely miss killing, like decapitating Ethan Hunt.
Yeah, like Jean Reno's like part of his like I'll get him is by flying the thing to
straight into him.
try and chop him up.
But Ethan Hunt has more gum.
He does. He has one more stick of gum,
And blows him up.
and he puts it on the bubble of the helicopter. And there's like a ooh moment where Jean Reno looks at it and realizes what's about to happen.
Is it like Tim Allen's?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a home
just wanted
improvement
to
movie.
make sure.
And so he blows up Jean Reno and John Voight, who are in the helicopter.
The double John
The doubles.
kills double John with
The
the
double
with
trouble.
a pair of double mint gum.
They throw Ethan a birthday party, and then he
Well,
gets
if
the
I'm
new-
not mistaken, Andy, the movie ends the same way it begins.
Oh, it does.
With
it does.
Ethan Hunt getting another mission.
On the plane.
if he
on the
chooses
plane,
to
just
accept
like
it.
with the waitress to the
And even with the same
thing,
secret code.
And he gets the mission, and he's like,
With banana shake, sir? And he's like, yes.
He's like, give me that banana shake. And it's like, this banana shake will self-destruct in 10 seconds.
Well, thank goodness, because no one was going to drink it.
No one wants a
Nobody
banana
wants
shake.
this.
Who drinks that?
That's why the secret code is yes.
Yeah,
no one in their right
'Cause
mind would say
no
it.
one would want that unless they're accepting a secret mission. And that's when we get a cool end credits to mirror the cool opening credits.
The opening credits is a fuse getting lit, that sweet song being played, and us just following that fuse and stuff.
I don't know if
blowing
they
up.
do the fuse every time, but I know at least the most recent one I saw, they do another follow the fuse through a whole thing during playing the Mission Impossible song, and then it gets to like it leads into the movie because it blows up a wall that they were doing. It's just a cool framing device. Like this whole series is one, I really like the Mission Impossible movie series as a whole.
The second one has some missteps, but
Oh,
after
yes.
that they
Oh,
right the
yes.
ship after that one.
It's like the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah. John Woo had one heck of a time
Oh boy.
making that movie, and then
not the
JJ
best.
brought it back.
Yeah.
The third one was good. The fourth one was entertaining.
Fourth one's the one where they bring in Simon Pegg.
Yeah, and he's like climbing that Indian glass building
Yes.
in India, which is sweet.
And then the fifth one, they go to Dubai.
I haven't seen the fifth one. I know he hangs on the plane, and that's his thing
Yep,
now.
that was like the beginning of the movie is the plane stunt. Pretty rad. And then he does the same plane stunt pretty much in The Mummy, apparently, that you refuse to see.
I'm never gonna see that film. And that's there's probably gonna be like 7 more Mission Impossible movies.
There's gotta be.
What I want, and they were sort of doing this with the latest ones, is a Fast and the Furious style group Mission Impossible films where they're like getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
and
bringing
bigger
in
and
more.
bigger and
I
bigger.
don't know. The last
I want
one,
them to be big.
The last one was trying to. I feel like the last one was trying to set up Jeremy Renner to take over the role that Tom Cruise
That
plays.
never worked out. Ask Matt Damon in Bourne Identity.
Well,
He
not
couldn't
only
get it done.
They tried to put Jeremy Renner in there. That was a terrible Bourne movie.
Bad.
But then at the same time, like that was also before like he blew up with a bunch of other movies, and I was like, I feel like at this point he's gonna be like, no, I don't even want to do Mission Impossibles anymore.
Yeah, he should just do like weird art films or whatever.
Yeah.
He's just an Avenger guy now. I don't even know
Yep.
what other movies he makes. Is he in Magic Mike? Maybe. Who knows what Jeremy Renner's doing?
That's it could be. No, we'll never know.
Yeah.
There's no way to know.
There's no way to Google
There's no way.
Jeremy Renner IMDb
to find out what movies he's been in.
and what he's doing. I mean, Hurt Locker was the thing.
Yeah, Hurt Locker was really good.
And Ving Rhames comes back in the second one, but not any of the other ones.
No, he comes back in I think 4 at least. He's been one of the recent ones, at least one of the recent
I'm
ones.
happy for that.
Yeah, he's a great character.
He's wonderful.
He's so good in these. He's wearing like a little pork pie hat the whole time, and
Yeah.
he's just being Ving Rhames.
He's really good. I think that's all I got for this movie.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't think of anything else that really happens. And like I said, I'm expecting a lot of face pulls, and I'm expecting
At
the
least 3.
classic suspended scene.
That's
and,
gonna happen.
and the helicopter bubblegum. And then I've forgotten about that restaurant scene. And I'm
There's a-
really looking forward to that too.
I like that restaurant scene a lot. This was one of those movies that came out when I was like 12, and I saw it on VHS, and I just watched the crap out of it.
This
It
was like
so good.
This was probably like the
I watched it with my whole
first-
family. It was
this
so
the,
fun.
The first blockbuster action movie I feel like that really made an impression with me. Like this is like as a kid,
Yeah.
this was the movie I held any other action movie to as a standard. Because this was just like the movie. Anytime this was on TV and I was a kid, I was like, I gotta watch it. It's so good. Like
And it kind of had the flood of like the Ocean's 11
Yes,
and
yeah.
a couple other like heisty movies. But man, this one really stands apart, and I hope it stands the test of time.
yeah, I'm really excited to revisit this one. I mean, I know I say that for every movie, but it's always true. If it wasn't true, I wouldn't say it.
I
Brad.
wonder.
I would never lie to you.
I'll go back and see what movie you didn't say it to, and I'll
Oh, I
know which
bet
one you
there's-
didn't want to see.
Well, no, yeah, then we'll know the big secret.
Join us in part 2. Figure out what we got right, what we got wrong.
If you're interested in cooking, wrestling, or both, be sure to check out my other podcast, Top Rope Chef, a podcast about food and wrestling, which you can find at topropechef.com or searching for Top Rope Chef in any podcast app. Thanks.
I think we've lost enough agents for one night.
You mean I've lost enough agents for one night?
You seem hell-bent on blaming yourself, Ethan.
Who else is left?
Yeah. See your point.
Why was there another team?
What?
Of IMF agents at the embassy tonight.
I don't quite follow you.
Let's see if you can follow me around the room. The drunk Russians on the embankment at 7, 8 o'clock. The couple waltzing around me at the embassy at 9 and 11. The waiter standing behind Hannah at the top of the stairs. Bow tie, 12 o'clock. The other IMF team. You're worried about me. Why?
Well, for a little over 2 years, we've been spotting serious blowback in IMF operations. We have a penetration. The other day, we decoded a message on the internet from a Czech we know as Max.
The arms dealer.
That's right. Max, it seems, has two unique gifts, a capacity for anonymity and for corrupting susceptible agents. This time, he'd gotten to someone on the inside. He'd gotten himself in a position to buy our knock list, operation he referred to as Job 314, the job he thought Galitzin was doing tonight.
But the list Galitzin stole was a decoy.
That's correct. The actual list is secure at Langley. Galitzin was a lightning rod. He was one of ours.
This whole operation was a mole hunt. This whole operation was a mole hunt.
Yeah. The mole's deep inside. And like you said, you survived.
Let's go back
You
down.
sound very powerful. You sound like a winner.
You sound very nice. Come back to Kazakhstan. That's my impression of a guy doing a bad impression of a Borat impression.
My name is Borat. Andy does a great Borat impression. You should have him do it.
That was really not bad. Can you do more? Pretend you're at the checkout counter at a grocery store, and you're asking trying to find out where something is, and you're having trouble explaining it.
I'm looking for the eggs, not my wife. Oh boy.
I can't say that was worth it.
It's
I
weird.
can't say that was worth it.
It's weird thinking about how huge, how culturally
Your
huge that
penis
movie
is.
was.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that too. I mean, that's its own thing. You know? We'll have a whole episode to talk
It
about.
has its own podcast.
Yeah.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Mission Impossible podcast.
That was slick.
Well, remember, we watched Mission Impossible.
Now I just want to eat some.
Now I'm
pasta salad.
real hungry, and we got everything right.
I was
We got
surprised
everything
because
right
this movie
in this
is
movie.
crazy. I don't
Yeah.
know how. Like,
We figured it out.
Yeah, I don't know
can't
how.
explain it.
So were there
There's
totally
only like 3 big set pieces in the movie, really.
Yeah.
The opening in Berlin. Is that where they are? Minsk. They're in some sort of foreign Poland. Or
Yeah,
something?
some sort of foreign city, obviously, but
And then they're in Washington, and
Yep.
and then they're back in England.
and then they're on a
And
train.
they're in training in England. Those are the 3. That's all the movie is.
Yep.
It's 3 big set pieces.
Yeah.
What a gosh dang good second act.
This, oh my
The
gosh.
second act of this movie might be the best second act of any movie ever made.
It was incredible. I was thinking about growing up, like, in 1995, we had Goldeneye come out.
Oh yeah.
Which is like an incredible Bond film. And then the year after we have this Mission Impossible drop, and it was like those 2 movies defined action movies for
Yeah.
me for years.
100%.
And I totally still love both of them. And this movie was every bit as good as
This
I was
movie was
expecting it to be.
incredible. It was
Oh
better
my
than I
gosh.
thought it was gonna be.
It's like no matter how many times you see the whole descend from the vent thing, you're still on the
I'm
edge of your
still
seat the
on
whole
edge.
time.
I'm ready to
oh
go.
Oh my gosh!
All the pieces are being put into play. Ving Rhames is doing stuff. The girl's like poisoning that guy. We missed that part.
Yeah.
But he keeps going in and out of the room because he keeps on having to poop and throw up because the Claire poisons him.
Yep.
Really sneakily.
Put some Visine in his drink.
Mm-hmm. And John Reno up there with the rat and the tension, and
Oh
the
my
zip
gosh.
disc and the loading bar and the sweat
Yes.
and everything is just so tense and awesome.
Oh, when he's just like balancing the 2 inches off the floor. And because it's Tom Cruise, it's like him actually performing this feat of athletic ability.
Yeah, it's him in those wires doing all those flips.
And
stuff.
he just
It's
has like the
incredible.
2 wires. He's clearly balancing himself. Like
Yeah.
that's really happening. And I don't know.
The whole setup too, I forgot about that. It has like that setup talk where it's like, this is how the plan's gonna go down.
Yes.
And then while they're describing it, stuff is happening. Like the plan is going down while the
Yes.
stuff's going down. I'm like, yes!
Oh
One
my
of
gosh.
these things in a movie, finally.
It was so good.
It's like these Ocean's 11 heisty things.
Yeah,
It's like explaining
it
the
was.
process. It's like I feel engaged. I know it's happening. They're speaking in a clear way. Everything is really simple. This is great.
Because this movie could have been a muddled mess. There is so much going on at every moment of this film that
There's a lot of moving pieces.
yeah, there's a lot of places to get it wrong, and they managed to actually lay this movie out so where you're surprised by everything, but you're able to immediately pick up where your surprise happened and be like, oh, I understand how they did that. I mean,
Yeah, I was never lost.
yeah, I think there was 3 face rips. Was that correct?
Three good
face rips.
3 good face rips.
I forgot. I don't know if we mentioned the one at the very beginning. I think you might have actually. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I called that scene out where they're trying to trick that guy. I forgot what they were trying to trick him to do, like when we were talking about it. But it was just to give us a name.
Tom Cruise as an old man was really funny.
Yeah, he doesn't even need makeup now. He could just make that movie, and that old man face would be
Wow! Don't let him hear you say that.
burned him. I'm on Tom Cruise control with that burn.
Whoa, my gosh!
It's Days of Thunder time.
Coming off Top Gun here, Brad. Oh my gosh!
I forgot how good Job was, and
Yeah.
that scene where they like use the disc Job. So where Tom Cruise is trying to prove to her that the disc is bugged, and then if
Yes.
she uses it, the feds are gonna come and get her, and she doesn't believe him. He's like, just pack your bags and get ready, and they do that, and then the feds come and like they're out the door, and Job trusts Tom Cruise from then on, and then they figure out the plan to.
Yeah, like the tension you get when the team
Get
shows
money
up
by
and
the
you see them,
knocklist.
like they're looking at them enter the building, like they know they're coming, and then they kick the door open and the room's empty, and then you see that they got out just before. And
I love a character
Oh my
that's playing
gosh.
like multiple sides.
Yeah.
Of enemies.
And-
So fun.
I mean, we mentioned it at length in part 1, but the aquarium restaurant is incredible.
Yeah, that whole thing blows up. It's
Oh
so
my
cool.
gosh.
But the reveal too, where Tom Cruise realizes that the people that were around him at the restaurant were also around him during the mission.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and it's
was
one of
so,
those like you
cool,
watch the
awesome.
whole mission go down, and then it replays all those scenes, and they're like, "Here's what you missed in the background," and it's like, "Oh
You
shoot!"
did, but I was looking for some of them. I was like, oh, that's a weird background actor. He's
Yeah.
very like in focus during the frame. I wonder why that is, and then it all pays off.
Yeah, it was really good. And he's just the second team. Why was the second team there?
Why was the second team there? They're trying to get that mole.
And then I also thought it was funny that pretty much almost everyone that died in the first part like didn't actually die.
Yeah,
It was like
just
what?
the blonde girl and Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, just the 2 characters
And,
I really liked.
Yeah, and the wife, I guess.
And I was like, everyone else was like, pretend died.
Not the wife, but the other girl who wasn't,
Yeah.
who was into Tom Cruise.
Mhm.
Who was somebody's wife. Or not? I don't know.
One was a wife of somebody.
There are 3 women and they're all dead except for Claire, she did do the betray thing, where she was working for the good side, and then at the end was gonna trade on him,
Yeah.
which was a bummer.
Triple cross.
Triple double dipped it.
Double deek.
Yeah, and she died just to get rid of the plot hole. Of, like, just not had to resolve, like, oh, what happens now with her? Does she go to jail? It's like, no, she's just dead.
She gone.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy it. This is a movie that's fun to watch again after you've seen it once before, just to catch the things you missed the first time, and things like knowing that Jean Reno is going to betray Tom Cruise. Like when he
You can see his acting choices.
when he
and
pulls
what's
up
he
in the
doing.
vent, and he's like, he was clearly just about to like stab Tom Cruise in the throat and take that disc, and like just dropped the knife and was like, "Oops, that was an accident. We're still on the same side for sure." Like, and just plays it off, and you're like, "Oh, it just fell out of his hand. And he had it out for some reason."
So that's how they know
Oh.
the disc had been like stolen. So John Reynolds about to stab Tom Cruise, and a knife slips, and in a slow motion just flips down, and the whole room turns red right when security's about to clear, and the room turns red and goes to white again the second the blade hits the ground. And you're like, oh my gosh, that's so tense. So many tense things happening.
And the one guy that was barfing his guts out comes
Yeah.
back in, and he's like, Did I leave this knife in the desk?
Help! Help!
But I'm pretty sure that watching this the first time around, I also didn't catch that the knife that Jean Reno drops is the same type of knife used to stab what's her face in the beginning.
Not Claire. The brunette.
Yes.
There's a blonde, there's a brunette, and then there's Claire.
Yeah. We're terrible people for not knowing who they are, I feel like.
Yeah,
but oh man, and then Ving Rhames just being Ving Rhames is great all the time.
Yeah, he's really good. I'm glad he didn't
funny.
die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that he's in
I'm glad that he comes back in like every single one.
Heck
he
yeah.
is so good. His character is so funny.
Fast and the Furious, we talked about it.
Yep.
Fast and the Furious, this movie. Get all the actors back.
Yeah.
Get John Voight's still kicking around. You can get him back.
Yeah.
You know?
You could totally, I mean, they're still kicking him out. They just only Tom Cruise. Although, I mean, they've added like Simon Pegg is really good in the most recent couple. And Jeremy Renner was in the most recent one.
And there's a girl? Oh, they changed the girl up.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
They swap them out.
Yeah. For whatever, the girls are interchangeable. Danny Newton in the second one. Some girl from Grey's Anatomy in the third one. And I don't remember the other two.
Yeah.
No, but get all the ladies back. I'm fine with that. There's a lot of director signature shots. Let's get real nerdy about the filmmaking.
Ooh, give it to me.
A split diopter, where something in the foreground and the background are in focus at the exact same time. You'll notice that it happens quite a few times, at least 7, I think I counted. One of the ones is when Jean Reno and Tom Cruise are just in the electrical facility, and Jean Reno pulls the knife on Tom Cruise, and they're both in focus, and you can see that little fuzzy line between the two of them. Mm-hmm. That's because it's done with a split diopter. You can have something in the foreground and the background in focus, but you will have a little fuzzy in-between line, and they usually try to hide that between things, but sometimes you can see it, and
I don't know if I ever noticed that. I'll have to go back and look.
They use at least 8 times in this
Holy
movie.
cow.
It's
I'll have to, I need to go back and watch it now, because that's something.
There's the really sweet split screen scene where Emilio Estevez is going up the elevator when the guy hits the button.
Yep.
And that's like a nice split screen thing that they do.
Mm-hmm. That is a really cool shot.
The lighting noticeably changes like when he steps in from from out of the elevator into the elevator, because you can see like somewhat of a difference, but really just neat classic filmmaking techniques that are done.
Yeah, I mean all the shots in this are
beautiful movie. Oh my god.
It is. It's really well shot, and I feel like a lot of action films end up getting not necessarily phoned in, but there's like just a standard, this is how you shoot this type of scene. And when you get someone that's creative about it.
When Tom Cruise is like going around the city in the beginning, like you feel the alleyways and you can feel like the kind of scope and size and where everyone sort of is. Like you see the parking lot, you see the bridge, you see them getting out of the building. You have a good relationship, like a spatial relationship with the film.
They give you a good sense of the space. There's a couple...
Even inside the Pentagon or whatever.
Yeah. I really liked in the first part where he's like at the embassy and then leaving the embassy, like running away. They do a good job. There's like, I think 2 or 3 times where one of the team members is like, this is happening, and it'll like, you'll see from another team member's perspective, they'll look in that direction and it'll do like a big rack to get that shot in focus. So you understand where they are in relation to each other, and kind of also give you the idea that like, I'm too far away, I can't help, and it makes you feel
you're immersed,
as helpless as Tom Cruise is when his team's getting killed.
You're in the scene with them.
It was really cool, and it's something you don't necessarily see so much, and you appreciate it when it is there. Seeing someone be this creative with a big action film like this.
Making their shot selections mean something. Using the visuals to tell the story.
Yeah, it was very entertaining, and like I said, coming between this and Goldeneye back to back in like 2 years, and it was just no competition with so many other films for a long time.
Oh my gosh, are we on a streak after watching like Speed and RoboCop and like Top Gun?
Oh, the best action movies.
We are watching the best action movies ever made on this podcast. It just happened to work out that way.
I'm waiting for us to get to where we're just like holding it up to all these other action films, and we're like, this is just bad.
I don't know what that movie's going to be, but it's going to be something.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll get there.
Man,
but
90s action movies, a little underrated. I think the 80s, got a lot of the spotlight.
Yeah, 80s you had the big
people
action
are sleeping
stars.
on the 90s action movies.
Yeah, but 90s I feel like just had the real good thriller action.
Yeah,
and I appreciate it.
I got nothing else to say. It's great. It's a great movie. See it.
It's so good. Rewatch it, absolutely, for sure, a bunch of times.
Thanks for rating, liking, and subscribing to our podcast on iTunes. The movie in our next episode has the tagline, Roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. That is correct. Back to the Future Part 2, another live episode. You can find us talking about the first Back to the Future movie on our Patreon. Sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/whatremember. Thanks.
Do you remember the future?
You've got to come back with me.
Where?
Back to the future.
Are we back?
We're back.
What do you mean we're in the future?
October 21st, 2015.
Marty, we're going to be able to see our wedding.
Wow. The future. I gotta check this out, Doc.
Look what happens to your son.
He's a complete wimp.
Don't talk to anyone. You've been looking, Bob. Don't touch anything.
I need to borrow your hoverboard.
And try not to look at anything. I didn't invent the time machine to win at gambling.
I can't lose.
I invented the time machine to travel through time.
Hey, Doc, I'm all for that. What's wrong with making a few bucks on the side?
Now, the time continuum has been disrupted, creating an alternate 1985.
There have been a few changes.
It's like we're in hell or something.
No, it's Hill Valley, although I can't imagine hell being much worse.
But they'll all be back.
Eat less, slackers!
Biff?
Hello? Hello, anybody home?
Well, that can't be you. You're so big.
Michael J. Fox. Christopher Lloyd. Michael J. Fox.
More like a couple of teenagers, you know?
And Michael J. Fox.
Mom, is that you?
Steven Spielberg presents a Robert Zemeckis film, Back to the Future,
Gotta get back in time.
Part 2. Coming November 22nd to theaters everywhere.